So yeah, welcome to Eliminate Week 6. Tonight's topic is all about sort of like the fat loss science and the maths. So we've touched on things like scale weight and some of the factors that can cause the scales to go up. And I know obviously during the Eliminate calls, we very, very briefly touch on these things. So this sort of topic goes into a little bit deeper, a little bit more depth as to some of the numbers that we see. And it's mainly a call based on like basically not to panic when we do see things like the scales go up and things like that, because you've always heard people sort of say, oh, weight's gone up, don't worry about it, it's just water weight, it's just salt. But I want to put that into a bit more reality as to why we say that and what we should do about it. And hopefully it makes a little bit more sense to you guys along this as to like how much you do sort of need to eat to put a certain amount of weight on. Because the reason I've made this, it used to just be part of a topic. It used to be sort of like a brush past. This is what we should do when the scales go up. It is probably this, but I think given the experience I've had on Eliminate and obviously all the clients I coach and things like that, it tends to be no matter how hard you sort of try or how much knowledge you have or how much someone tells you don't panic when the scales go up, the second the scales go up, you panic anyway, right? So that's why this has become its own topic, to sort of give you the numbers and the realization of how much you actually do need to eat to put on a kilo, for example. So let me start with sharing my screen. I am Amira's mum, so it's a new connection, but it looks good from here, so everyone can see that, can't they? Yeah, good. So as always, I start with some of the frequently asked questions, and I try and cover sort of things that get covered a lot during the check-ins as well. So why am I not losing weight? And if anyone remembers sort of like the email I sent, and I put a brief description of it in the group about the scale weight. So one of the reasons you may not be losing weight is you may not be tracking correctly, first and foremost. So it's quite easy as we go into week 4 or 5 to be like, yeah, I'll just eat the same lunch as yesterday, and then you forgot you took the rice out of it, for example. You may have put in the fact you're using 5% beef, when in reality you're using 10% beef. You've copied the day over, but you've been forgetting that, say, for example, when you're tracking, you missed a coffee off it. So all these little things can quickly add up. And like they say, even 50 calories twice a day is 700 calories over the week. So like little bits of like, oh, I'll just have that little bit of extra square of dark chocolate in my porridge, or I'll just have an extra little cup of tea when I get in at night. Just start remembering these things do add up. So that's your first and foremost. Secondly, obviously you've got things like salt, water retention, carbs, periods. You've started lifting a little bit heavy, so your body's under physical stress. You've got mental stress. You might be busy at work, things going on at home, etc., etc. And most importantly, when we sort of get to this level and this sort of week of Eliminate, you're going through what's called body recomposition. So I think 95% of you follow me on Instagram, and you'll see photo I posted today of one of the girls, and her body composition before and after looks completely different, yet she's at a very, very, very similar weight. She's not 60.0 on the dot, but there is only like a kilo difference, yet she looks a hell of a lot different. So you're going through what's called a recomposition. That tends to happen the leaner you get and the stronger you get. So when you start getting leaner and leaner and leaner and less body fat, you start lifting heavier and heavier and heavier, you will start to build muscle. So you'll often hear people say muscle weighs more than fat, etc., etc. This is true, but in terms of like short-term diets or like for the sake of Eliminate, it will be body fat keeps dropping. The reason it will slow down or stop is because you've probably lost enough body fat and your body's going through a little bit of recomposition. There may also be like cortisol levels, which is your stress levels, if your weight's been dropping down 2 kilos a week, for some people it has been doing, eventually that will just go bang and your body's like, well, what's going on? And it's sort of like your stress levels retain water. And I say like it's a bit like a sort of like a cactus in the desert. It just holds on to the water. Or a better example is a dry sponge and a wet sponge. They're both the same size, yet a wet sponge weighs more than a dry sponge. So don't panic, because it's all part of the process. So they're one of the main reasons you may not be losing weight. But the most important thing, first and foremost, is if you are not losing weight, double check your tracking, especially whilst on ELIMIN8, or for those of you that go into coaching with me, or anyone who has done one-to-one coaching with me, you'll notice I never panic when weight doesn't move week one. If I've changed the calories and I think you're hitting them and I think you're hitting them accurately, the first thing I'll always say is make sure, let's see how it goes for another week. I'll never be like, shit, weight hasn't come down, let's drop it, because there can be a number of reasons. So we never panic on week one. We sort of see how it goes for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll make changes. ELIMIN8 is a bit different because it is planned out where we drop calories at week 3 and week 6. So don't panic. Always check the accuracy first, and then start asking the questions. Could it be something else? So that's what I start to see during week 6, 7, and 8 of ELIMIN8, and why progress pictures, measurements, and things like that are important. So if you aren't getting your progress photos in, please do, because it's good to see going back when the scales don't move as well. So it's just sort of double checking everything, and hope, like I said, things I see in week 6, 7, and 8 are people like weight didn't move as much as previous weeks, but I think I look better in my photos, and I feel a lot better in my clothes, which is what I'm actually aiming for. I don't give a shit what the scales say. I care more about how you look and how you feel. So leads me quite nicely onto where am I most likely to go wrong. Again, some of these questions come over from the week before, and I sort of drag them through, and I always try and make sure I cover things 2 or 3 times during ELIMIN8, because if I say something very quickly and move on to the next topic, half of you are watching the footy like Paco, half of you are just doing things in hindsight, and things can be missed very, very quickly. You can watch the footy, Paco, keep me updated on the score. But the thing is, if I repeat it, hopefully you get to the point and ELIMIN8, like where you almost know what I'm going to say, because that means you've learned that information for life. And I think I said it to a couple of people in their check-ins today, is week 6, 7, and 8 of ELIMIN8, you learn so much about you and about yourself. And if you learn to hit protein, if you were on 150 grams of protein and you hit that for 8 weeks, it becomes boring in terms of like, yeah, repetitive, but you can never unlearn that information. If you know having Greek yogurt for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and beef for dinner hits 150 grams of protein, you will never forget that information. You'll know, oh, when I done ELIMIN8, this is what I was eating. When I was doing ELIMIN8, in order to hit my protein, I was putting protein in my meals first, and then I was adding my veg, salad, carbs, etc., etc. That's why it becomes important. So where you're most likely to go wrong, not pre-planning, doing things in hindsight. So getting to the end of the day, realizing you've got 100 calories left for your dinner. Just copying and pasting all the time without double checking it. I copy and paste my Fitness Pal. I have similar breakfast, lunches, and dinners Monday to Thursday. I tend to copy it over, but when I copy it over, I just quickly run through it and go, yeah, my latte's in there, my chicken lunch is in there, yogurt's in there, etc., etc. And the minute I'm having 2 whole eggs, 1 egg white, so I make sure that's accurate. And also, like, when it comes to weekends now, it is being that little bit smarter, because you are a little bit more tired, you are a little bit more hungry, and on the other side, you've been doing it a little while, so you think you know better and think, I can just do it, I'll be fine. But calories are a little bit tighter. So, and don't get caught out. So don't get to sort of like, oh, go out for the day, having a breakfast, and then you have another lunch, and then you start convincing yourself, do you know what, I've not had breakfast or lunch, it's okay to go to KFC and just get a wrap from KFC, because that will bring my lunch and my breakfast together. And then you've had 600 calories for next to no nutrients, as an example. KFC is all right, but you know where I'm getting at. Then also with your workouts and your training, just thinking like, if you miss one, that's the week done. Or if you miss a session, say you've been doing four sessions a week and you do 3, and you think, oh, I need to get that fourth in, and then you try and do 5 the next week to make up for it, or you get to Wednesday and you've not done a workout and you think, oh, I've screwed the week. No, just set your goals, always stay active, always keep moving, and just remember, everything we do in terms of workouts, steps, cardio, are all just a tool to make weight loss move in the right direction at a quicker speed. Some people are doing 3 workouts. Some people are doing 4. Sarah, for example, is doing none. Sarah's lost an incredible amount of weight. She's not done a single workout, yet her steps are probably higher than everyone else's. They're just tools for weight loss. So just try and always think about, just move where you can. If you can't get a workout in, can you get some cardio in? If you can't get a workout and cardio in, can you get some steps in? Always think, can I aim for whole nutrient dense foods first? If not, can you pick a next best option? Can you make your lunch? If not, what can you pick up on the go? And if you've had a big weekend, you've been out, bank holiday weekend, you've had a few drinks, you've been out for dinners, okay, that week has been and gone. You went over your targets that week, you didn't lose weight, but don't let that week become 2 weeks. Monday, right, what do I know on Eliminate? What's going to put me in the right direction? And get yourself back on track. So what should you be focusing on? Again, similar to what I've just said, you should be focusing on your structure. Now, by now, you should know what days and times you train, what sort of meal structure you're having. Are you having breakfast, lunch, dinner? Are you having snacks in there? What sort of timings are you eating? If you've got that sort of in there, what meals you know work for you, you will be fine. If you focus on that, you will cruise through these last 3 weeks. These 3 weeks will almost be exciting rather than tough and hard work, because you'll be like, right, I know if I do this, my weight's going to continue to come down. I'm going to continue to get leaner, and I'm going to continue to look better, and I'm going to feel better about how I look. So how do you stop hunger? The most important thing, in fact, where's the chat? Put in the group, best ways to stop hunger. Oh, put in the chat just anything that you think is a good way to stop hunger. Water, water. Yeah, water. Anything else? Anyone think food, eating might be a good idea to stop hunger levels? Yeah. Protein, snacks, protein. What did we talk about on the, yeah, Sarah's right, low calorie, high volume food. What did we talk about on the cardio session? What's going to stop? What causes more hunger, high intensity or lower intensity cardio? Yeah. So high intensity, yeah, high intensity causes more output, therefore more recovery. So be careful of doing any excessive exercise. Be careful of overdoing steps and cardio. And most importantly, which I'm glad I said it, and put it in the chat because not a single one of you said it, sleep. Sleep is your best friend on a diet, because sleep is where we recover the most. And most importantly, when our sleep's impacted, so are these 2 hormones called leptin and ghrelin. I won't go into the boring part of it, but one makes you hungrier, one impacts your ability to feel full. That is a bad mix on a diet. Add alcohol into that, and you're really going to struggle. So again, minimizing alcohol is going to stop hunger. Minimizing processed and non-nutrient dense foods is going to stop hunger. But sleep is massive. And then, like you guys said, drinking lots of water, making sure you're hydrated, lots of lean protein sources, lots of fruit, veg, salad, etc., etc. Volumizing your food. You can go into things a little bit further, and the consistency of your food, e.g., if you're having just milk and liquid calories, you're going to find yourself a lot hungrier than if you were having, for example, chicken breast. Things that are a little bit harder to break down tend to make you fuller. That's why they should, that's why people say to you, pick like things like chicken breast, etc., over sort of liquid calories and things like that. And what was the, yeah, there was something else I was going to say, but the consistency of your food makes a big difference for hunger levels. So what will make the final stretch easier? All of the above. Pre-plan, focus on your energy levels, get good sleep, maximize whole foods, nutrient dense foods as much as you can. Does that mean you can't go out for dinner? Does that mean you can't have a takeaway? Does that mean you can't have a beer or a chocolate bar, etc., etc.? No, it doesn't. If you're able to fit a chocolate bar in and your recovery is good, your energy levels are good, and your weight comes down, fine. You're more than welcome to do that. If you drink alcohol and you can make it work, absolutely fine. These calls are generic. Would I be eating takeaways, drinking alcohol in the final 3 weeks of my diet if I was coming towards like a holiday or a photo shoot? Probably not. I'd probably keep it to a bare minimum. If I was going out for, say, a couple of beers, I'd maybe keep it to 4 Coronas or something like that, depending on the nature of the event. But again, I would be thinking now, what can I make to make my life easier rather than flexibility? So you'll see like weeks 1 to 5, I was a lot more on be flexible, enjoy life, etc., because I wanted you guys to enjoy life, to show dieting isn't all about chicken, rice, and broccoli and cardio morning and night. It's to show you can eat certain foods that and still lose weight. You can enjoy life and still lose weight. If you have a day where you overeat, cool, fine, just move on. But what I'm showing you now is if you want to get to the level that other people can't get to, or you get to where you normally get to, plateau, and then think, my weight stopped moving, I've got to go backwards, it would be sort of complacent of me as a coach not to tell you that whole foods, nutrient dense foods do help and get you over the line a lot easier. Minimizing alcohol and takeaways, etc., do make things a little bit easier. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's fine to do what you want whenever you want and lose weight, because that's not the coach I am. I know you all think I'm really nice and really friendly, but I can be quite strict when I need to be. But again, it's subjective to who you are. So the thing said above, good sleep, water, good nutrients is what's going to make it easier. Don't overdo it on the cardio. I know you've only got 3 weeks left. Your calorie deficit is aggressive enough. You do not need to do any excess cardio unless I've told you to in your comments, or you do not need to drop food any further because ELIMIN8 is aggressive as it is. So just try your best to stick to the targets. What happens if you gain weight overnight? What you're going to do if you gain weight overnight? Put in the comments. I spoke about it at the start of the call. What's the first thing you're going to do if you gain weight overnight? Message me. Cry. There we go. They're the answers I'm expecting. Come on, the girls. Standard. I've coached enough females. It's come up as Steph. I need to know which Steph that is. It's just come up as Steph. Steph, put which surname is it? Oh, sound. I've had a few Stephs cry to me. That's why I was asking. But yeah, Haley said it. Look at what you've been asking the last few days. Look at what you've been eating the last few days. Just double check everything's correct. Like I said, make sure accuracy is correct. And then ask yourself, did you eat food higher in salt? Did you have food higher in carb? Did you eat a little bit later at night? Etc., etc. Because we know they're the sort of things from our previous ELIMIN8 calls that can make weight go up. It's not always because you've overeaten. There are other factors that can make weight go up. So, for example, if you were to go and eat a load of salt tonight, the likelihood is your weight will probably go up. Salt doesn't have any calories. It's not going to impact the composition of your body. In fact, I went out for sushi on Saturday night, lots of salt, trained Sunday morning, and it's the best. My weight went up by a kilo, just over a kilo. And personally, I think it's the best I've looked on this cut Sunday morning after I trained. My weight went up, but because of the salt, it made me look better, which is for photo shoot, bodybuilding style level. You don't need to know that information on ELIMIN8. But don't panic. You just get on with it, hit your targets, because you know if you're hitting your targets, you know it's a calorie deficit, and we move forward. So I've touched on this quite a lot already, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But you'll see here, making dieting easy is pre-planning, know what you're eating and when. So for example, I've spoke to the boys probably get this a little bit more than the girls off me. I've gave them examples of like my photo shoot diet. But when I was doing my photo shoots, I knew I was eating at, for example, 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, etc., etc. You don't have to be that specific. If you were due to eat at 12 o'clock and you ate at 12:30, that's not going to make any difference to your progress. The idea is that you know in and around what time you're having breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, etc., etc. Because someone said to me today, I can't remember if it was, I think it was a one-to-one client, said she's been finding she's getting herself really, really hungry between about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I asked her what time she had her lunch and what time she had her dinner. She had lunch at 12, dinner at 6. She had no snack in between. She's on a fair amount of calories. So it is a one-to-one client. She's on a decent amount of calories. She has the ability to move a snack to 3 o'clock. So even I said to her, even if it's like a little bit of yogurt, chocolate protein pudding pot, even if it's not even a protein snack and it's like a bit of fruit and a Coke Zero, she can now plan in where she gets hungry. That's why eating similar sorts of food at similar sorts of time gives you the ability to be like, right, where am I getting hungry? If you find yourself you're getting hungry or cravings at a certain time, you can then put something in. So for example, if you me personally, I have quite a sweet tooth, quite a sweet craving. I put a Coke Zero with my dinner. I feel like that satisfaction of a Coke Zero stops me craving sweets. When I used to work in an office and I had more ability to be better with my meal timings, I used to plan in my Greek yogurt before bed, 0% fat Greek yogurt with chocolate whey protein, a bit of fruit, etc., because that gave me that sweet craving I needed. It felt like a little bit of a dessert after dinner. It sounds so boring, but that to me worked. For other people, it may be. For example, Amira at the minute is having. She's got the calories to do so. She's having a square or two of dark chocolate after dinner. The Lindt sea salt. For her, them 2 squares is only 100 calories. It enables her to feel satisfied after dinner. So that's where the pre-planning comes in, which allows you to track food in advance. Like I've said a million times, think protein first, then fruit, veg, salad, and then add in your carbs. So for example, even if you were like, right, I fancy a salad for lunch, think chicken salad or prawn salad or tuna salad, etc., etc. I want a stir fry for dinner. That soon changes to I want a tofu or a chicken stir fry. And you're thinking, right, that's where I'm getting my protein from. Then you think, right, that's what fruit and veg goes with that. Then it'd be like, right, get to the end of the day, I've still got 200 calories. I'm a little bit short of my carbs. I train around lunch. So therefore, I'm going to put some couscous in my lunch. Or I'm going to put some rice with my lunch. I'll train after work. I'm going to add in some extra fruit before I train just to give me a little boost before I train. So that's going to keep you moving. Always where you can prep your food. It does make life easier. It really, really does. It saves you a fortune. It makes life easier. And prep's not boring or it's not a chore if you learn how to prep the food you enjoy. So like I've had a previous Eliminate where I had a couple of like honestly Michelin star chefs at prep and they were making all sorts of foods and doing 3-4 days. There's enough people on like Instagram and TikTok these days where you can get some really, really good meal prep ideas. But I genuinely look forward to my bowl of oats in the morning with my dark chocolate and things like that. Probably because I'll make the consistency top level. And I'm yet to see someone make a better bowl of porridge than me. But I look forward to it. I look forward to, again, when I say my chicken fajitas and things like that, I don't eat it every single day of my life. But when I meal prep that, I'm like, when it's lunchtime, I'm looking forward to eating it. I'm not thinking, oh, I've got chicken fajitas or oh, I've got a disgusting lunch. I'm like, I've picked an option I like. It falls in my calories. That's why I used to make a bolognese when I've done previous photo shoots, but I think I run that one into the ground and I went off it a little bit. So rather than this time when I'm cutting, thinking, do you know what, I'm going to have a bolognese again, because I know it works. I changed it to stir fries and things like that to make an option I like. Like I said, most of the time I have stir fries. Over the weekend, I've been having meatballs. I had a salad yesterday with burgers. They all fit my targets. Most of the time, I just stick to what I know, but I'm always prepping food that I actually enjoy. I don't ever eat a meal and think, do you know what, I know that hit my macros, but I really, really didn't enjoy it. Like, not the biggest fan of fish. You won't see me have fish for dinner. Not the biggest fan of rice cakes. You won't see me eat rice cakes. Fish and a rice cake is famous for getting in bodybuilding shape, but you won't see me eat it. I've never ate fish on a rice cake, and Jordan gets the reference. I hope other people do. But even though that's bodybuilding style, you will never see me eat it because it doesn't work. And I've never eaten it on my route to my photo shoot. So you do what works well for you. Get good sleep. Spoke about the hormone imbalance, limit alcohol, have a fallback diet plan. You've all got the email which says the diet that will change your life. This is why I keep talking about the foods I eat, because it works for me. I done one for a veggie this morning. Said to her she could have a 0%. Bear in mind, I have oats for breakfast, so completely different to me. I made it up in 10 seconds on the spot. I said your fallback diet could be 0% fat Greek yogurt with protein, berries. Your lunch could be a a tofu-based salad. Your dinner can be a corn mince or Linda McCartney veggie mince bolognese, and your snacks can be a protein shake and fruit. That was me making something up within 10 seconds. Another one could be an egg white omelette, turkey burger with McCain fries for lunch, and dinner can be fish and roasted veg, as an example. So these are things that work for anyone. You should know what works for you by now. Breakfast tends to be eggs, oats, or yogurts. Lunches tend to be meat, veg, dinners tend to be sort of meat, veg, carbs, etc., etc. So it's doing what works for you. The best snack tends to be 0% fat Greek yogurt or egg whites, hence why I always talk about it. But you do get things like biltong, etc., etc. If anyone else, because I know Sarah, you won't mind me saying, Sarah was saying today she actually finds it quite hard at the minute to add in variety. So if everyone can just put in the chat what they've been having, what's their go-to lunches and their go-to dinner. So my go-to lunch is chicken fajitas. My dinner is beef stir fry. So just put in the chat just what you've been having for lunch and dinner, and I'll show you that how everybody's lunches and dinners. I guarantee most of the lads probably put they're having chicken fajitas for lunch and stir fries for dinner, because lads like things simple, and we are simple. Yeah, there you go. Simple-minded people. Your chicken stir fries are probably a lot tastier than mine, Paco. Have you ever learned any tips and tricks off your mum? So the important thing is fat loss science and math. This is where it gets a little bit geeky, a little bit interesting, but it should give you them light bulb moments that I've been talking about. So I'm going to run you through some numbers, and it comes across geeky. And I want you to be honest with me, because like I said, I've made this into its own topic. If you think, yeah, really cool, really interesting, I really like that, this topic, tell me. If you thought I switched off because it was boring, get that out of there, Logan, put something else in. Next time you do eliminate, then do let me know. So you've heard someone probably say, you haven't put on a kilo of fat, you've just put on a kilo of water weight. So I'm going to run you through the numbers. So 1 kilo of body fat is approximately 7,000 calories. So if you were to put on 1 kilo of body fat, you'd have had to eat 7,000 calories over your maintenance calories. So if you maintain weight at 2,000, you would have had to eat 9,000 calories total to put on 1 kilo of body fat. Cells contain some water and the protein structure, right? That is what it's breaking down into. So a 3,500 calorie deficit is what we're sort of aiming for, that 0.5 kg fat loss per week. This is the sort of numbers we're aiming for on Eliminate, which equates to 71.4 grams or 0.07 kg per day. So if you weigh 80 kg, that's 0.0875% of your body weight you're trying to lose each day. Less than that, if you're bigger, more than that if you're smaller. So you're trying to lose 0.01, 0.0 or 0.1%, which is absolutely minuscule as a percentage. So up to 60% of the human body is water. Let's call it 50%. So 80 kg using these numbers so they all make sense to you. So 40,000 grams of your weight at any given time is water. 50% of your weight is water, for example. What affects how much water is in your body is stress. That's the hormone. That's actually called your menstrual cycle, your hydration status, your carb intake, your sweat rate, your salt intake, and that can fluctuate up and down 4 kilos in a day. So if you've gone out at the weekend and you put 2-3 kilos on it at the weekend, you can see how water alone can impact that up to 4 kilos a day. So if you're 80 kg, you can roughly store 800 grams of carbs in your body. So 10 grams per kilo of body weight, right? With every gram of carbs stored in your muscle, you'll also store 3 grams of water. So that's 3,200 grams of carbs and water at any given point in your body. This number fluctuates throughout the day and is influenced by activity level, carb intake, meal timing, digestion speed, and that can go up or down by 3.2 kg daily. So you can see if everything was at its heightened amount, you could put on 7 kg within a day, or you could drop 7 kg within a day. The likelihood is it won't be as much as that. So you're trying to lose 71.4 grams of fat a day, 0.5 kg per week. Now, remember that your water weight will fluctuate daily between 2,000 grams. Your carb weight will fluctuate daily between 400 grams. Do you really think for you to know whether you've lost 71.4 grams of fat per day based on all them numbers I've just chucked out? Things that can make it go up, things that can make it go down. Do you really think you can know whether you've lost that amount of fat per day? Well, I'm going to say it is. You'll know whether you've put the effort in and ticked the boxes you needed to. And that's all you need to concern yourself with. So tuck your tampon back in, move on, get fucking on with it. A little bit of light-hearted gesture. The tampon is obviously girl related because you girls can put on weight through water, through your menstrual cycle. I have to be careful of PC these days. But the idea of this is, look, your weight will go up and down. Water weight will go up and down. The only thing that you ever need to concern yourself with when on a diet is, did you hit your targets? If you hit your targets, e.g., you stuck to your calories, you got your steps and things like that, do not panic if your weight's gone up or down. Like, you just need to know the targets that you've got are set by me are there for a reason. They're there to make you lose weight. Ideally at a rate of 0.5 to 1%. ELIMIN8 is probably slightly more aggressive than that. But you're not going to know whether you, of that weight you lost, whether 0.7 grams of it was body fat. Do you know what I mean? If you've come down 1.5 kilos, how do you know that so many grams of that was body fat? It's going to be water weight. It's going to be stress. It's going to be salt. It's going to be carbs, water, and things like that. This is why you probably hear people talking. So it used to be the keto diet, that everyone has anyone actually tried keto before? Just let me know in the chat because I actually want to ask you a question. So keto can obviously, your weight will drop because you've just dropped carbs. At the minute, you'll probably see all over the internet, everyone's talking about the carnivore diet. Has anyone seen that? I don't know if I get sort of in this bubble of PT and coaching when I'm looking through social media because of the algorithms, because I'm a PT coach. Has anyone seen like Eddie Abu, the guy that's going around the supermarkets going, this is shit, this is fucking shit, look how many ingredients is in this.
Just eats eggs, is it?
Pardon?
Is that the one who just eats eggs?
Yeah, eggs, feta cheese, cottage cheese, ground beef, etc., etc. So you've seen it, and you'll see a lot of coaches now going into the supermarkets going, look at this is rubbish, and they're just copying basically what he's doing, and they're basically talking about the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet is similar to keto in terms of like you just eat meat and eggs, but you will lose weight initially, but because of the carbs, because of all the things that I've spoken about previously, about salt dropping, water dropping, and things like that. But fiber, which can only be found in sort of like your carbs, your fruit, your veg, etc., is one of the most important things for digestion and a good gut. So all these people doing the carnivore diet, maybe apart from Eddie Abu, but these people you're seeing that are following it, I guarantee they change and come back round in a few weeks or months when they can't stick to it, because you can't just eat meat and eggs. Has anyone actually tried any other fad diets like 5-2, any diet that anyone wants me to cover? Fad diet, e.g. like keto, high carb, low carb sort of thing. Anyone thought about doing intermittent fasting, anything that's sort of popular, juice diets, etc., etc.? If there's anything you want me to quickly run through, something you've tried or thought about trying or were about to try before ELIMIN8, let me know. Would anyone, and I want you to be honest as well, would anyone now actually jump on a fad diet now they sort of know ELIMIN8, or is ELIMIN8 sort of showed you a way that would be like, it doesn't sort of matter as long as you're in a calorie deficit? It's all about sort of monitoring protein and energy levels, and then carbs and fats can fluctuate. What's everyone's thoughts on that? Has ELIMIN8 sort of showed you that the method? Because that's one of the main things I promote when I'm doing the marketing for ELIMIN8, is I teach you that the tips and tricks to fad diets. There is no such thing as sort of a fad diet. It is all about being in a calorie deficit. Does everyone like fully understand that, or are people still a bit hesitant to sort of the method and would still try a fad diet? Please let me know in the comments as we continue to go through this. So so just as we're going on here, so how much fat can you gain in one day? So you've probably seen people do the 10,000 calorie challenge. The thermogenic effect of food is 1,000 calories. The average female weighs, the thermogenic effect is basically the amount of calories you burn eating that food. So the 70 kg female is maintenance is roughly around 2,500 calories. Glycogen stores can go up to 2,800 calories based on the numbers before. NEAT increases, so naturally by eating more food, you will naturally move more. So that gives us a total of 3,200 calories, which is 0.5 kg of body fat. So next time your weight goes up by 0.5 kg, ask yourself, when you gain 0.5 kg on a scale, did you actually really eat 10,000 calories? That's the sort of numbers that we're getting at here. You have to eat 10,000 calories to put on 0.5 kg of body weight, which you're not going to do. Nadine, is that you saying like you would be more inclined to go like no carbs and things like that just to get the weight to come down after being on holiday, or you would more jump on something like keto? Or what's your sort of thought process behind saying that? Is it?
No, I meant that ELIMIN8 taught us how to balance, and even when we were on holiday in Italy, it was probably the most tempting country in the world.
Oh, I don't disagree.
We were still able to enjoy ourselves, and yeah, we gained a little bit, but not nearly as much as we thought we did. Like,
that's good. And do you think that's probably from of what you've learned over the past sort of 5 weeks before going on holiday?
Oh, 100%.
Good,
yeah.
that's good. Very, very quite a personal question. Did you guys feel restricted or less restricted by being on holiday during ELIMIN8?
I didn't feel restricted at all. I think we just thought about things differently. So you don't need to eat all pizza by yourself. Yeah. You could share one and later taste something together. So it was more smaller portions, but still tasting everything we wanted to and still feeling quite satisfied. Yeah.
And again, sorry, just to come off the back of that, did you feel less like, I know like some people when they go on holiday and then they come back and they think, oh, we've ate all that pizza and pasta and things like that. Did you feel less guilty coming back this time than you had done on previous holidays? Because you felt like you could eat more and get more involved.
I think less guilty, yes, because you also help to know that if you go on holiday, still enjoy it in limits.
Yeah.
But it's still, this is a short-term diet, so still some sort of guilt that, you know, 1 week that fell in between is kind of like a week that you could have gone one direction. But yeah, if that makes
That's
sense.
good, and I appreciate the honesty there. It actually makes things better, because said this to someone today, is like the 2nd or 3rd of June, whatever day Eliminate ends, is just a date I've made up. So if you think of, like, I put this into saving for a house. So say, for example, you needed to save 10 grand for a house, right? If only you needed a 10 grand deposit for a house in Jersey, we'd be laughing. But say you needed 10 grand and you wanted to buy a house within 10 months, right? And you had to buy it on that 10th month. Say, for example, this month you spent a little bit more money than you did on the previous months. You only saved £750. So next month you cut a few things. You cut down your clothing that you're spending. You cut down your coffees, so you could make up the £1,250. So over the 2 months, you've got the balance. That's absolutely fine to do that, because it's needed to be done. So you've had a holiday, and if you were like, right, I've been on holiday, I want to make sure 2nd of June, when Eliminate finishes, I have to be a certain weight. Cool. That can be done within reason, because you have to make a couple of sacrifices. But if, for example, this month you save no money, but you didn't have to buy the house on the 10th month, you could buy it on the 11th month, and it doesn't make any difference to you, and you've just took 1 extra month to save that money for the house, then that's absolutely fine. You still get the end product. I've made up the date of 2nd of June. If you have a paused week on Eliminate where you maintain and you don't lose any weight, and rather than getting to your goal weight on the 2nd of June, you get there on the 9th, 7 days later, that doesn't make any difference to anyone. It's only me who's made that date up. If you've not got that set date for a set reason, you've got an extra week to play with, and that's cool. Just Bryn has asked me, he went away for a stag do and he completely writ off a week, and he said, can I just repeat week 4 and finish a week later? I went, not a problem. It makes no difference to me. I want someone to do that. So it's good that you will naturally, as humans, we do feel a little bit guilty if we've overeaten and we've got a fat loss goal. The same way we would feel guilty if we overspent when we're trying to save. Where it becomes obsessive is if you beat yourself up for it. So don't beat yourselves up for it. You went away, you enjoyed yourself, you're back into routine. If you get to your goal a week later, that's cool. But I need to get in touch with you guys anyway. Marcel, I've got a message which I'll reply to after this call, but we'll talk about that. But I wanted to talk about that openly so everyone can sort of understand the thinking.
Yeah.
So as I wrap up the call, the most important thing, it's been 35 days. That's still not a lot of time to diet. We want everything now, but we need to focus on the long game. You'll probably notice you are getting meal preps getting easier. You're understanding what food works. You understand what protein is. You're starting to hit your targets. You're feeling a bit better with your workouts. You're going into the gym. The workouts are taking a lot less time. You're now thinking about, oh, can I add in cardio? So your energy levels are good. So this isn't just a phase. This is a lifestyle. Like I said at the start of the call, once you've learned this information, you can't unlearn it. Once you know how to hit 200 grams, 150 grams of protein, you know how to hit 150 grams of protein. You know now the most important thing whenever you start any diet is, right, what days am I training? How many meal sittings am I having a day? You do that, you're not going to be a million miles away. So at this point, you start to question what difference could 3 weeks make, e.g., if I go and have a takeaway, will that do much damage over the next 3 weeks? Can I push a little bit harder? It's only 3 weeks work. If it's been working, it's been working. Don't change things up. Accountability starts to dip a little bit because you're like, oh, I've only got 1 more week of dieting. How much difference am I going to see in 1 week? Remember, we're not here just for the phase. We're here to build the lifestyle. Accountability is important. This is why I've said to you guys that want to book in a call, whether it be to talk about your journey and obviously to talk about coaching, is asking yourself whether you've still got a bit of weight to lose or you want to maintain what you have lost. Is that going to be easier doing it on your own or with a coach? That's me being blunt. So accountability does start to dip. Just focus on the reason you're doing Eliminate. Use Eliminate to accountability. Haley put in a great post in the group on the Eliminate Made Me Do It challenge, where she was due to go for drinks, didn't really need to. It wasn't important social. She went for a run instead. She wouldn't have done that if she wasn't on Eliminate. This is where accountability starts to come in. Between weeks 5 to 8 is where you'll see the biggest physical changes. You'll see last couple of weeks I've been posting a couple of the transformations on my story. And you'll see like we're really starting to see people come through. A couple of people I've said to you from my experience, I put this in the comments. Another 3 weeks work, you'll be very happy with how you look. I think Jordan, don't mind me saying, said to Jordan, you're probably at a point where you normally get to. This is where you often plateau. Don't stop now. If you go through 3 weeks, you'll get through to that next phase. And he responded to me, that's exactly what normally happens. So obviously I've got the experience as a coach. So I hope I know what I'm talking about. I can't really blag it for this long. I've been doing it long enough, but hopefully my comments do make sense as to when I give you them, and hopefully you do agree with them. But you will really start to see the physical changes in these next few weeks. So take it one day at a time, build up rhythm. 35 days turns into 36. Soon this will be your lifestyle. Focus on why you started this. Do the tasks required. Look at the positives, not the negatives. I had a very good week of check-ins. Not many people panicked. We are starting to see the things I teach in the calls and in the comments, and focus on what you've done well. And a lot of people are starting to really focus on that. And check-ins are a hell of a lot more positive. So again, pre-plan. You'll hear me say it every week now. Do not do it in hindsight or on the fly. Yes, there will be times you slip up. Yes, there will be times you leave the house and you haven't made breakfast and you have to pick lunch up on the go. There will be times you got in late for whatever reason and you didn't make your lunch. But do it as much as you can. Say no from time to time. It won't kill you. Haley, well done last week. Paco, I'm going to give you credit here because you've been really good with your work dues, etc., saying no, and it's working. Suffer now, not to suffer in the future. Rather than taking 3 steps forwards and going backwards like usual, just keep going forwards. There will be days where obviously we maintain weight, or days we slip up, but just get back on it, get back on the horse, as I like to say, and keep moving forwards. Have your non-negotiables to do daily. This is your water, your sleep, your steps. For me, again, it's making sure I do things like my meal prep, just because I know I'm a lot better being stricter, the more flexibility. I'm the type of person, you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. That's why you don't give me the inch in the first place. I'm just like you guys, so I'm not this robotic coach. Make yourself the priority over the next 3 weeks. It will be worth it. Watch 2-3 weeks. You can still go to these events, you can still be social, but just make sure you're happy with it. Your goals are set first. You're not here to please anyone else. We had the topic on your social environment and how important that is. And on to this week's challenge. So this is ELIMIN8 Challenge 5, big plates. Who can not have a takeaway or alcohol this weekend? No, I'm only messing. I put that in there, obviously based off all the things we talked about. It shouldn't be a challenge yet. It is. In all seriousness, this week's challenge is for the biggest meal for the smallest calories. So we're talking food volume here. Fill your plate up and keep the calories down. I'm going to leave that as the main topics, but you just want a high volume food plate is what, if I'm giving you a little bit of indication as to what it is. Tag me and use ELIMIN8 GC, title it ELIMIN8 Big Plates. These challenges will contribute to the overall prize, which is your money back or a month of coaching. Any questions for me on anything ELIMIN8 or booking in your calls or anything like that?
I think just one question, Logan. You know, people that work from home and getting the steps in those days, that sort of thing. But any comments on that?
Well done for reminding me. So what I say is an imaginary walk. It's a lot easier said in principle than it is actually doing it. But imagine you've got a route to work. So say, for example, you live at First Tower. In fact, I'll use me. I live at Half Day Par. I can walk to Fitness First, right? That's my daily walk if I was walking into the office every single day. If I was to work from home, I would create an imaginary walk. So, for example, I may go from Half Day Par. I may go do like a little lap of the marina around Half Day Par, walk up towards Green Island and back. And I would do that before I start work, and I'll do that after work. So if you say, for example, you're someone who drives to work and you park at Le Jardin and you work at HSBC, which is across the road, which is about 50 steps. imagine you were me. Imagine you had to walk to work every day. So rather than going straight across the road, what you do is you come out of the car park and you go do a lap of the marina, walk up towards Cooper's, get your coffee, and then go into work. So working from home, you just create this imaginary 15, 20-minute walk, which you do before you start your day and when you finish at the end of the day. So not sure, use down Granvaux. Yeah. So what you can do from yours, just walk down to the tennis courts, walk back, start your day. Do that before and after. 15, 20-minute walk. You may go up Langley, back down Grainville or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Just something that starts your day. I get it's a lot. Reason I say it's a lot easier said than it is done is because obviously usually when you get into work, you shower, you get ready, and you go into work. Just chuck on a hoodie, chuck on your shorts, trousers, whatever, and just go for a little 15, 20-minute walk. And that becomes your walk to work, even though you're working from home. Because if you were in the office, you'd have to walk in anyway. So you just create something that works for you. And it can be a loop, it can be a route, it can be whatever it may be. If when I move into my new place, hopefully this week, and I'm gonna work from home on Mondays. But what I will do every Monday is I'm gonna walk all the way up, and I'm gonna go get a coffee from Costa at the top of town before work, and then I'll do that walk after work. And that's just me. I've made that up today. So hopefully that all makes sense. You good with that?
Yeah, or what I did today, because I work from home, is I just went to the gym after work and just did an incline walk or whatever. Can that obviously save time? Or yeah, if you go, well, you'll have to go to the gym again, type of thing. If you do it in at a gym rather than going out.
Yeah. So if you do it, the steps is your step target is total step target. It doesn't matter where you do it. Like it doesn't matter whether you do it at Granvaux or Fitness First. Your steps is your steps. So yeah, you can do 10, 15-minute walk before your workout, 10, 15-minute after. But I'm just sort of saying for the guys that work at home, just get your steps in. On a Monday, I've moved my cardio session to a Monday. So I used to do it on Tuesdays. But because I'm, as you all know, I've got a shitload of check-ins to do on a Monday, which gives me a very limited time to work out. I get like maybe half an hour. I'm not getting a workout in half an hour. So I do my cardio on a Monday now. And that enables me to get my steps up on a Monday, because if I didn't do it, my steps would probably be about 3,000. So today I went for a 5K jog, got my steps up, and got my cardio ticked off for the week. So it's just about doing what works for you. Cool. Right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks again for all your time, listening in, commenting, and have the most wonderful evening and week. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep things simple, pre-plan, and anyone who needs to get in touch with me for a call, just drop me a message. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.